What's going on, guys? Christian here from CK Wraps. Today I'm going to show you how to wrap the side cowl piece on my Jeep Gladiator. This is also on a Jeep JL, so same piece as far as I know. On the Mojave version, it's a little bit different, so it's actually a lower profile and a lot easier to wrap. This one is a little bit more complicated since there's quite a recess here. Now, every time that I've wrapped my Jeep, it's pretty much been in chrome, I've had to put a seam here. Another thing that I won't be doing is what you'll need here are inlays inside these little holes. I have a video on my website, ckwraps.com, on how to set these areas up with inlays and then wrap like the main piece. So if you're looking for those extended how to vinyl wrap videos, much more professional level, check out the website. Anyways, I'm not wrapping inside here because I have the side lights that do go there. So those will be going back on 100% because I really like them a lot. And that covers that area right there, so I'm not worried about it. You could also set up this section with an inlay, but we don't need to. And also this side over here, and then also inside here. I have a box here and I'm just sort of experimenting with this, but sometimes it helps if you can position your piece off of the table, which then exposes the edges. So the color that I'm using is this color right here. This is Colorfusion from Vvivid. This is a cosmetic paint protection film that is much more durable, about twice as durable as any cast or PVC films. So it is TPU, it's just thermoplastic polyurethane. And the film is incredible to install. It's very pliable, and you're gonna see how that works in this area right here. Let's position our piece right over top. This isn't an overly complicated piece. I guess the harder section would be setting up your inlays in those bolt holes because you will need to wrap them. And then again, you can see just how flimsy this material is, how soft it is. I believe as they said it was 6.5 mil, so that's pretty standard. It's pretty close for PPF, like does get a little thicker than that. Again, we're just double checking, making sure I've got positioned for full coverage. That looks good there. That looks pretty good on the bottom. And I think that we're good to go. So what I'll do here is I'll squeegee out the lower section. Just let the air out. It does have air release as well, like I said. So we're doing this completely dry without any fluid underneath. And I'm able to squeegee right down to this edge really nicely simply because the edge is exposed with the cowl sitting on top of the box. This is gonna have cut and folds. And again, these are completely hidden because they're actually underneath. So when you mount this back on, you don't see them whatsoever. Let's finish up the squeegeeing right here. There we go. And then the rest of this is going to be basically stretched in to the recess. Let's do a slit down here so we can do our cut and fold and just knock the bottom section out. So we're gonna find that point and then come straight out. That was sort of straight, that's okay. We're gonna come in a little bit closer just like that. We would just take this and roll that around really nicely. And when it's done nicely, you're never gonna notice that tiny, tiny, tiny little fold there. Again, it sits mostly covered. And this is a bit tricky because what we have to do is we have to sort of pull the film through as we push the film through. I'm gonna get ready with my glove. And when the piece isn't mounted to anything stable, it's a little tricky to do that. We're gonna warm up the film. Probably don't need much heat at all. And we wanna aim for the deepest part of the recess. Let's see how this works on a box. Sort of pull through. Oh, it came off the box. That's okay. Go back and get some of this air that we left behind. These wrinkles, bound to happen. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna end up pulling the opposite direction without undoing too much of the film. Start getting that going over there to that corner. Cool, get that mounted to that corner over there. That shouldn't move again. Okay, let's try this again. We still have more to go in. This is quite a deep recess, okay? So most films are going to have somewhat of a challenge in this area. By keeping it tight, it prevents the wrinkling. Try and go right for that area right there. Okay, we're there. Deepest part first. The deepest part first is important. Squeeze out the rest of these bubbles here. a second. Deepest part first is very important because we want to get this down without compounding tension by working it into the deepest part little by little. So we always target the deepest part first. Finish this up. And again, you see me struggling a bit more with this just because it's not mounted to anything. Could I do this mounted to the Jeep? It's still a little tricky that way too. Right here, we're gonna do a cut and a fold at this corner right here. Trying to keep that on camera, that's the tough part. And then that's gonna make it a lot easier to finish this up right here. I'm not even pulling it down. Let's do this cut and fold right here. That could have been better. It's just my final's overlapping itself, or my PPF is overlapping itself. So let me unfold it. Okay, let's finish up here. Great. Let's trim some of this off, just so I don't have to cut through 2 layers of it when I fold this over, just like that. Then trim that off. And start trimming around the bottom. Now, you might be like, oh my God, it's resting on the plastic table. This is, I mean, you could put a cloth down, but this is not scuffing it or scratching it. And if it does, it'll heal with heat. I'll give you guys a better demonstration of that later on, how well it works. I couldn't even scratch it actually. I scratched it with a brass brush and it didn't even scratch when I tried, which is pretty cool. Okay, let's take some heat, hit that corner up right here. And just massage that one down. When I do this piece in chrome, I actually have to inlay this side, but because this is a much softer material, I don't have to inlay it at all. It's not possible to wrap every part of every car in one piece, and it is also not possible to always do your corners without using cut and folds. Okay, it's coming out, right? Take a little bit of heat, hit that corner up. It's folded right around the inside where, again, nobody's gonna see that. Okay, let's pull that a little bit tight. There we go. Just a little bit. And just because the film is so naturally pliable, again, no heat necessary to get that little bit of stretch out of it. I could stretch it a lot, actually. A lot more than I did without even heating it. Let's get up here. So this will be more of a rounded corner up here, okay? So look, this is what I'm talking about. This is a more normal style corner where it's not too thick and we're able to wrap it really nicely without doing any cut and folds generally. So we want to make sure that it's all good before we do any cutting, right? Kill it with heat, just to make sure it stays nice. It's a little bit warm, so my blade's jumping. Could be a little cooler. It's not easy to cut vinyl, any vinyl, when it's hot. Blade kind of drags on it. I'm just gonna separate this. Now on the very, very inside, because this corner tapers downwards and in, we're gonna have a couple of wrinkles here. This is totally okay for this in this situation because when this goes back on, we're never gonna notice it. It's around the other side. But just making you aware of the fact that that corner does sort of taper down and around slightly. Could use a cut and fold. It's not gonna look any different than that because you have to have a fold there, right? But from the front side, and even from the side, unless you're looking at it from the back side, you're not really gonna notice it. So even if you look at it from there, and I still have to touch it up with some heat, but when you look at it more from the front, that's more from the side, that's more from the front, that's the other side, and you're not really gonna notice that at all that there's any kind of wrinkle on that corner. Again, I'm trying to do this while keeping everything on camera. It's tricky. Luckily, I've got Profreet here helping. Move the camera around. He's a professional camera guy. And these videos should come out looking really good. Excited for them. Watch your fingers, obviously, when you're cutting like this. Again, I'm just trying to keep it elevated to keep you guys in the scene. All right. A little bit of heat here. Take that. Put that around. Cool. It's looking good. I have a little bit of trimming just on the back right here. Just right here. And I'm going to leave that extra behind there just because it helps hold it down, because it's naturally wanting to wrap around that area. And that's just giving me a little extra grab. A little more heat on this corner here. Just get in there with those edges. Clean everything up with that heat. All right, guys, that's the cowl piece on the driver's side of a Jeep Gladiator /JT /Jeep JL. Both have the same thing. Again, depends if you have the Mojave or not. The Mojave will be easier, but this is it. This is Vvivid's Cosmetic PPF. Colorfusion, and it goes down super nicely. Made the contour really well, and obviously didn't take that much time overall. I hope you enjoyed the video. I look forward to doing more videos for you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Take care.